Okay, let's dive right into this. In today's explainer, we're unpacking something pretty much all of us have romanticized at some point, and that is the absolute magnetic pull of the big city. We're looking at the ultimate metropolitan paradox here. Why do millions of us literally flock to these concrete jungles? And more importantly, what actually happens when those glossy, fast-paced expectations inevitably crash headfirst into some very gritty realities?
Fast-paced, fun, and exciting. I mean, that is the undeniable allure of metropolitan life, right? You move to the city and suddenly you are just surrounded by countless job opportunities and this endless stream of activities to fill your time. It is electric. There's this palpable energy in the air that makes you feel like you are standing right at the absolute center of the universe, where literally everything is happening all at once.
But, as we all know, with the good, inevitably, comes the bad. So let's look at Section 1, the hustle and cost, economic realities.
So here is the grand economic illusion of the big city. The promise seems massive, right? You're going to see hundreds, if not thousands of new jobs popping up every single week. But here's the catch. Because a big city attracts so many people, there's an incredibly intense level of competition for every single one of those roles. Actually, it can make your job search wildly frustrating. You could literally be surrounded by 1,000 open positions and still be unemployed, especially if the broader economy is taking a dip. The sheer volume of opportunity is, well, it's matched right up against the sheer volume of applicants fighting tooth and nail for it. And then, let's say you do land that job. You immediately face the next massive hurdle. Living in the city can literally, as the saying goes, cost you an arm and a leg just to rent a tiny apartment in a halfway decent area. And honestly, that's before we even start talking about the daily cost required just to meet your basic demands. The cost of living is just exponentially higher in these urban centers, so that amazing salary you were chasing, it might not stretch nearly as far as you originally thought it would.
And that friction isn't just financial either. It's deeply physical too, which brings us to Section 2, crowds and commutes, physical friction.
Now don't get me wrong, having incredible diversity in a city is absolutely a good thing. But the sheer overwhelming volume of people, that can be a lot if you aren't used to it. In a metropolis, there will always be constant crowds. People are just always around you, and there is really no escaping it. You are sharing your personal space, the sidewalks, and, yes, your morning coffee line with millions of others every single day. Which leads us directly to the streets. Nightmare city traffic can get so unbelievably bad that it can actually, and this is a direct quote, turn you into an evil person. Okay, it's a slightly humorous way to frame it, sure, but man, it's a striking reality if you're a daily commuter. If sitting in endless bumper-to-bumper gridlock makes your blood boil, and you absolutely hate driving in traffic, then big city life is, for sure, fundamentally not for you. But the impact actually goes a lot deeper than just a frustrating commute. Let's move into Section 3, health and personal safety, unseen tolls.
There is a pretty stark chain reaction at play here when we look at the physical environment. That heavy traffic we literally just talked about, well, it directly contributes to severe pollution, which is arguably one of the absolute biggest disadvantages of urban living. This pollution drastically affects our health, especially when it comes to respiratory diseases and damage to other vital organs. And tragically, this all leads down to a grim reality. Research clearly points out that a lot of premature deaths are the direct result of long-term exposure to the small toxic particles generated in city air. It's this silent, invisible cost that we almost never factor into our grand moving plans.
Then we have to look at the objective, statistical reality regarding your personal safety. The fact of the matter is, there is simply always more crime in a big city. You are just mathematically much more likely to be a victim of a crime in a high-density area than you are in a quiet, small town. It's a harsh statistical truth of urban living, and it's one that can genuinely cause you to second-guess your surroundings.
So all of this really forces us to ask a tough question. Does the reality of urban life, the intense job competition, the staggering living costs, the relentless traffic, the pollution, and those higher crime rates, does it make you second-guess the decision to live in a big city? Because you really have to weigh those glittering, fast-paced opportunities we started with against some very real, very harsh physical and economic dangers. Ultimately, what do you value most? Is it the endless excitement and potential of the crowd, or the quiet safety and affordability of a smaller town? It's the ultimate metropolitan trade-off. And the right answer? Well, that depends entirely on what you're willing to endure.